All right, hello everybody. How's it going? Oh, let's get the lava lamp going. What are we doing? What are we doing? How's it going, everybody? My name is Michael. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Welcome back to my channel. We are going to be streaming tonight, Friday, January 24th, and learning some computer science. So we're taking a stab and jumping back into Harvard CS50X for today. We're going to try to solve, I think, maybe one or maximum two of the problems in the problem set today. We'll take care of the harder one tomorrow, but we'll do some of these beginning ones today, and then we'll jump into some other stuff in the back half. Hello, Ryan. Welcome back. Natty Sanis. Welcome. Awesome to hear from you guys again. What are you guys up to? Hey, Tim. How's it going? You're right on cue, you guys. Right on cue. Welcome back. How we feeling out there, everybody? Hmm. I got this heated blanket for my birthday. And let me tell you, I've been putting it to work. It's real nice. You guys staying warm. We're still setting up our connection here, it looks like, to the code base. Come on. Okay. Let's take a peek at sort here. All right, sort. Problem to solve. Recall from lecture that we saw a few algorithms for sorting a sequence of numbers. Selection sort, bubble sort, and merge sort. Selection sort iterates through the unsorted portions of a list, selecting the smallest element each time and moving it to its correct location. Bubble sort compares pairs of adjacent values one at a time and swaps them if they are in incorrect order. This continues until the list is sorted. Merge sort recursively divides the two lists into two repeatedly and then merges the smaller list back into a larger one in the correct order. Um, in this problem, you'll analyze three compiled sorting programs to determine which algorithms they used. In a file called answers.txt in a folder called sort, record your answers along with an explanation for each program by filling in the blanks marked to do. Okay. Let me move this to the bottom of the screen. Okay, like so. Uh, hey Prashant, how's it going? Welcome in. Thank you for the wave. Hello, how's it going to you? What's going on, you guys? What are we working on today? What are you guys studying? We excited for some CS50X week 3 on algorithms? Are we following along here? What's going on? Professor, is that a Python machine learning book? Are you getting into machine learning? Yeah, so I've had this book on deck for quite a while here, but just waiting to kind of improve our math skills before we get into this book yet. I just don't want to get too many projects going on at once. But yeah, are you guys interested in machine learning? Okay, so distribution code. For this problem, you'll need some distribution code. That is code written by CS50's staff, provided to you are three already compiled C programs, sort1, sort2, and sort3, as well as several .txt files for input and another file, answers.txt, in which to write your answers. Each of sort1, sort2, and sort3 implementations implements a different sorting algorithm. Selection sort, bubble sort, or merge sort, though not necessarily in that order. Your task is to determine which sorting algorithm is used by each file. Start by downloading these files, okay? Open VS Code. Start by clicking inside your terminal window and then execute cd by itself, okay? Cool. You should find the prompt resembles this. Click inside of that terminal window and then execute this. Now execute this. Now execute this. Okay, cool. Nice. So now we have, let's go here, remove all of this previous work we did last week. Substitution Caesar cipher. Hey, Ryan, welcome. I'm taking a short break from homework. I feel you. What classes are you in, Ryan? Piero, how's it going? Good evening to you. Welcome. It's awesome to hear from you. Hey, Trash Ketchum, welcome back. It's awesome. Welcome back, you guys. Okay. So we need to go new folder here. Week 3. Where'd you go? Week 3 needs to go in there. Week 1, 2, 3. There we go. Sort. Okay, so now we have this. Click the below toggles to read some advice. Explore the TXT files. Multiple TXT files are provided to you. These contain n lines of values, either reversed, shuffled, or sorted. For example, reverse 10,000 TXT contains 10,000 lines of numbers that are reversed from 1,000 to 10,000, while random 50,000 contains 50,000 lines of numbers that are in random order. The different types of TXT files may help you determine which sort is which. Consider how each algorithm performs with an already sorted list. How about a reverse list or a shuffled list? Okay, let's see here. Sort 1 uses what? Okay, so this is our answers here. So sort 1, let's pull it up. Open anyway. So this is already compiled though, right? So how are we supposed to necessarily determine random 500, random 550,000 answers? Hey, Ellis Dominguez, welcome back in. Welcome back. Pardon me. Went down the wrong pipe there. So, how are we supposed to actually determine the sort if they're already compiled? Right. How do we... If it's already compiled, do we just run the program? Let me go here really quickly, exit out of these things. So let's try to run the right. So let's do /, or we need to open up at this inside sort /sort1. Let's get the CD. I mean, which project's week is that one? This is going to be week 3 on algorithms. Man, that lemonade really is doing me a number on me here. So we're inside of our sort, right? Let's get rid of this. So if we do dot slash time each sort with different inputs. To run the sorts, okay, here we go. To run the sorts on the text files in the terminal, run dot slash program name and text file. Make sure you have time to have made use of CD to move into the sort directory. For example, to sort reversed and with sort 1, run this command. So let's just go ahead and do that here. Okay, boom. Did it just real quick. Interesting. Okay. You may find it helpful to time your sorts. To do so, run time sort file. For example, you could run time sort to run. Okay, let's try that one. Ah, there we go. Okay, so this gave us a real time of 0.246 seconds, a user time of 0.176 seconds, and a system time of 0.050 seconds. Hey, Jagdeep, welcome. I like that name. How's it going? Welcome, you guys. Hey, Wing Hong, welcome back in. Insomniac, how you doing tonight? It's a good Friday. Everyone having a good Friday so far? Okay, so our goal is to try to figure out what sorted 1 is doing. So let's just focus on sorted 1 for now, right? So let's call I'm gonna paste in the program here. But we're gonna do so rather than on reverse, let's do sorted. Let's do random. Let's go in order here, I guess. Random 5000 dot txt. Okay. So that's how long that took. Let me open up, hold on real quick. Let me see. Really fast. Hold on. Okay. So we'll have algorithm. We'll have algorithm on our top here. So we'll have sort 1, sort 2, sort 3. And then on the side here, we'll have random 5000, random 10,000, uh, 10,000, And then, so random 10,000, random 50,000. Okay. We have reversed rev 50,000, rev 5,000, rev, and okay, rev 5,000, rev 10,000, rev 50,000. And then we have sorted 5,000, sorted 10,000, and sorted 50,000, right? So we ran, what did we run here? We ran sort 1 on random 5,000 gave us these values here. I want to paste them. Ah. How do I want to do this? I don't know. How should I do this? Organize this. I guess we could do sort 1, sort 2, sort 3 over here with 3 ones each. Yeah, so that's how it'll have to be actually. So it'll have to be like sort 1, sort 2, sort 3, right? We'll take rand 5,000, rand 10,000, rand and we want to provide 3 for sort. Real is all that matters? Okay, let's just focus on real. That's it. Thank you so much. That helps a lot. Let's just take the real. Okay, so nice. Let's clear out of this. Okay, so we ran on random 5,000. Let's run this on random 10,000 now. This ran in real of 0.215 seconds. And then let's go here, let's go back, sorted random 50,000. Like so. Right here, like so. Okay, so just based off what's going on here is we are more than doubling each time around for increase of, this is a double, and we went up more than 2x. This is a 5x, and we went up more than like almost, what, 50x? 10x would be to 1 times 5, 50x almost. Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome Technically Data, how's it going? Appreciate you coming in this evening. What you working on? Okay, so now that's sorted 1 on those random, so let's do it on reversed 5,000. Okay, so that one did really fast here. Reversed. Oh, did I not do the dot text? There we go. There we go. 10,000 dot txt. Let's just reload this. And then we'll do 50,000. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 dot txt. Let that load. Come on. There we go. Boom. Cool. Now let's clear this out. Let's run not on reverse but on sorted 5,000.txt really fast. On sorted 10,000.txt gives me 0.058. And then one last time on 50,000. All right, real 0.553. Okay, so sort one, we have computed the real sort time for all of these various for this algorithm across all of these data sets. So when we have random data sets and we increase it, we really kind of exponentially increase here. Same with reverse data sets. And even kind of with, you double here, but then you multiply for you double here, but then you go by 10 here, magnitude of 1,000 actually, right? So you double and you go up by 1,000 x here. So we want to know, answers in txt, sort one uses what? Does it use a bubble sort? Does it use a merge sort? Or does it use selection sort? Selection sort being the slowest, bubble sort being the second slowest, second to last, second fastest, and merge sort being the fastest out of the three. So the sorted data is interesting. It kind of is just proportional to the amount of items as you increase. So you double the amount of items from 5,000 to 10,000 and you double the amount of time basically. Now if you go from 10,000 to 50,000, you go up 1,000x. Right, where's my cell phone? Need a calculator. All right. So 0.058 times 1,000 gives us out of 58. So sorry, not 1,000. 0.058 times 100 would give us 5.8. So it's a 10x increase. So it's proportional to, why did I think 1,000? My brain's not working. 0.058 times 10 gives us the point about, okay, so this is, proportional to the size increase on the sorted, which makes sense because it's already sorted, so you're just scanning over O of n times. So this is an O of n time right here. In the best case scenario, omega time, right? In big omega time, this is big omega of n in the best case, what's already sorted. Hey John, welcome in. How's it going? You can get by just checking the... Wouldn't bubble sort perform well on reversed lists because it swaps values? So if it's reversed, bubble sort compares two adjacent values and just continually swaps them through with going n minus 1 each time. So if the items are already reversed, yeah, each condition would be true. Yes, you would do a swap on each condition. No, but so that means that it wouldn't be that necessarily too fast though, because you do swap every single step of n by n minus 1. Yeah, adjacent values, right, John? So this one has a linear time complexity. So now, right, for time complexity's sake, though, is we only really care we do care about other data points, but we only really necessarily care about very large data sets. So let's go ahead and highlight here the large data sets, and it might be easier to see what's going on when we run these other algorithms. So let's go ahead and run sort2. Time sort 2 on random 50,000 .txt. All right, so that ran in a real time of 0.389 seconds, so way faster than the other one. And let's go back up and let's run this on sort 3. This one's way slower, but not as slow as our first one. Okay, so when items are in random order, the sort 1 is the slowest algorithm. Now, what about in reversed algorithm? We might see something similar. So this is going to be sort 3 on reversed 50,000 .txt. Right, 2.566 seconds on reverse. What was that one? Sort 3 on reverse 5,000. Now what about on sort 2? 0.485 seconds. Okay, and then let's do it one more time here for sort 2 on sorted 50,000. Take this guy, sort 2, and then we'll run it for sort 3. Real right here, like so. Okay. So as we can see here, I wonder if we can plot these. Format, tools, extensions, data. What is it? It would be insert tables, chart. Line chart, data range, x-axis is x-axis would be the label. Whatever. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so we can see here that these are pretty close. This is really fast. So sort 2 is going to be merge sort. Right? This one's going to be bubble sort. Well, this one performs the same speed across every condition of 2.2, about 2.5 seconds. So if we go back to our notes here, for these specific types, we know that merge sort had that O log n log n. We know that bubble sort ran an n squared. We also know that selection sort ran an n squared. So, but why? Why necessarily? Across random, what is this telling us? Right, because in the selection sort, find the smallest number between I and numbers n minus 1. Swap the values. Smallest number with. So that finds one smallest number per pass through n, and then does that swap. So that's why it's really slow. Okay, so that being said, how do you know? For large data sets, 50,000, it was the fastest outrunning time out of the three. What else? What else tells us that it is merge sort? And why does algorithm 3 take still one-to-one time Why does it take one-to-one time across every single condition? Let me go ahead and expand. I want to expand these really quickly. So sort 2 is obviously the fastest across each condition of data, from random to reversed to sorted already. But why does sort 3 take one-to-one across every single condition, no matter the case? Whether you sort, you reverse, whether it's already sorted, it's random. But sort 1 takes 5 whole, seconds or so to complete these processes. So sort 1 has got to be selection sort. On random, right? Because on reverse, you would do a swap on every condition of n for every n minus 1. But on random, you might not do a swap, so that's why you have slightly more time. I think. What? Hello. Lay down. guys feel about that? This heat of ink is getting real warm. Theta n log n is pretty dang fast, no matter the order. Yeah, exactly, right? So that would be the merge sort, right, is going to be the fastest one, no matter the order. So, but my question is, though, right, this one has a constant kind of time taken, no matter the amount of... I want to run sort 3 on data of 10,000. So on data of 10,000 for sort 3 on sorted, that gives me there. So it does ramp up quite heavily from 0.1 seconds to 2 whole seconds when you jump up 5x. So then now we need to decide which one is using bubble sort and which one is using selection sort, right? Well, bubble sort, if you think about it, I think would be sort 3 because can run in best case omega of n time, which would resemble being in the sorted, right? So in the best case, it can run in omega n time. So sort 3 would be bubble sort. In the best case, no. Yeah, because in the best case scenario for selection sort, you're still running at omega n squared time. Right, for a total of big theta omega n squared time, meaning that in the best case and the worst case of being in random and reversed order, where you have to swap every single time, and sorted order, they would be the same. So selection sort is actually sort 3. Yes, selection sort is sort 3. Because these resemble the same in the best case and in the worst case. In the worst case with rev 5,000, 50,000, you have to swap on every single position of n all the way through n, each pass of n minus 1 iterations. So that's why you have, and these two numbers reflect roughly the same time, meaning that you have a big theta of n squared here, right, for this slow running time. But with sort 1 here, it would be bubble sort because in the best case scenario of being sorted already, you just run an O of n time, which would take, just the half a second. So this is bubble sort. In the best case scenario, or in selection sort, for both the worst and best case scenarios, worst case scenario, the time is roughly the same. big theta of n squared. In whether sorting already sorted data or reversed data swap at every position of n, the same time is taken. Right. Merge sort is going to take roughly the same time no matter what. Selection sort is going to take about the same time no matter what. One is just faster than the other. Yep, that sounds about right. Right? And according to what we have, right? They roughly take the same time across all conditions, but merge sort is just faster on sort 2 than selection sort is on sort 3. Okay, so and then bubble sort, this one would say, okay, I like this problem because it really makes you think about the actual relationship of time complexity with actual time. You can actually see okay, interesting. Like what we are talking about with the sort 3 explanation. So how do we know for bubble sort? Well, um, in the best case, right, or big omega, in the best case, um, already sorted, requires just a single pass over n. In the worst case, you swap at every position of n through n minus 1 iterations for big O of n squared. This should be big omega of n. With little difference as in time as sample size drastically increases. Okay, what do you guys think about this? So, right, let's just go over this really quickly for those that might be confused. We're talking about bubble sort, merge sort, and selection sort. I have here, I'm going to just go ahead and hide the values that we don't really care about. Yes, they're important, but in the grand scheme of things, when talking about time complexity, remember, we only care about large data sets and how to process those large data sets. So really, it kind of only matters along that 50,000 data set line is what we can really get a clear indicator about what's going on under the hood. So recall that with, let's just go with merge sort, being that is the fastest algorithm out of the three based on a time complexity from our notes, we know that merge sort has a time complexity of n log n for big theta, right? Theta n log n, right? So that being said, right, if big theta in the best case and the worst case scenario, we are going to have a running time of big theta n log n, meaning that in the best case, meaning that the data is already sorted. In the worst case, meaning that every data point will need a swap, meaning that it's in like reversed order. the time won't really vary that much across these two conditions. Now, as you can see here from in our algorithm sort 2 that we identified is our merge sort example. Across each condition of random, reversed, and sorted for 50,000 data points, our time kind of just increases slightly as we grow with the data, but not too drastically in terms of it's kind of more of a linear increase, or like kind of resembles that n by logarithmic increase. That you can see that n times the log n reflective in that kind of linear increase across just the time when we actually shift between these two. Now, you go from 3 to 4 to about 4 to about 5 to about 6, right? So it kind of increases that way, just slightly by the constant factors. Now, or not really constant factors, but by like the amount of swaps per n in just these various conditions. But as you can see, they all kind of reflect similarly. Now, when we're talking about bubble sort, right? Bubble sort right here on example 2. Oop, had a big O running time, worst case scenario of big O of n squared. So we had to, and then it has a big omega of n, right? So in the best case. So in the best case, meaning that it is already sorted, it will just do it one single pass through to check if it is sorted via omega n. So in the sorted here, it would run pretty quickly here in sort 1 here, right? Which makes sense. Kind of similar to our sort 2. Now, but when in the worst case scenario, we would be in a big O of n squared or a quadratic running time. And so as you can see here, we drastically increase in time on the worst case of being in reversed order, where every position will need a swap. In random order, you'll probably have a lot of positions that need a swap, but maybe you'll randomly get one that is in the right order, so you might have less swaps to do there. But it looks like in this case, it actually takes more time to do that random swapping. So, which is just per that data set. So bubble sort then would be sort 1 here, because in the best case time being sorted, it is really fast. In the worst case time, it resembles kind of more of a quadratic time. It drastically increases up here, right? And then lastly, obviously by default, but we can infer and just we can also deduce here. Selection sort would be sort 3, being that it is slow across every condition and has a worst case and best case of theta n squared. So across the worst and the best case, it'll run about the same amount of time in this kind of slow bounding of n squared. So you can see that we have across all conditions of sorted and the two worst cases, they kind of run similarly, but in just that slow bound. So this is my answer. Yeah, cool. So we got to check 50 on this. How do you check 50 on this? What? How do you check 50 at TXT? Um, awesome, Ryan. It sounds like you agree with me then. Everybody agree with me there? Any questions on that? Feel free to chime in. Like if you don't feel ashamed, like down in the dumps, if you're not getting it, feel free to chime in and let's get you on the up to speed here. This is about us learning together here. How do we submit here? How do we submit? Hey, Brian, how do you submit? Do you have to do it on one of these? Or do you just do it inside the terminal here? If we make it to runoff, I'll be asking the questions. Okay, I think it's just here. Let's just submit here. All right, come on, show me the money. Show me the money. Give me the green. Boom. Nice. All right, we got it right. Sweet. Now let's submit this bad boy. All right, let's get this submitted. Sweet. Feeling good. Off to a good start here, you guys. Off to a good start. Feeling good. Feeling good. Okay. All right, that was the first problem on of sort on week 3. All right, next up, plurality. I'm thinking, Ryan, Trash Ketchum, I'm thinking that we might get to Runoff and Tideman tomorrow. We'll probably save those for Saturday because those are going to be a little bit harder and we're going to need some more time to work on them. So we'll probably save the Runoff and Tideman for tomorrow, just to save those ones for more time, but and break things up. So let's try this one here. Elections come in all shapes and sizes. In the UK, the Prime Minister is officially appointed by the monarch, who generally chooses the leader of the political party that wins the most seats in the House of Commons. The United States uses a multi-step electoral college process where citizens vote on how each state should allocate electors who then elect the president. Perhaps the simplest way to hold an election, though, is via a method commonly known as plurality vote, also known as first past the post, or winner take all. In the plurality vote, every voter gets a vote for one candidate. At the end of the election, each candidate has the greatest number of votes is declared the winner of the election. For this problem, you'll implement a program that runs a plurality election per the below. Distribution code. So download the distribution code. Okay, so we'll go here into week 3. Like this. Copy this guy. Okay. Then execute unzip. Then execute remove. Yes. Then cd into plurality. And then ls here to C. Plurality C. Executing code plurality C should open a file where you will type your code for this problem set. If not, retrace your steps to see if you can determine where you went wrong. Understand the code. Where is this at? Dot slash plur. What happened? What happened? Copy this in. There's plurality zip. Unzip. That created the file. Now remove. Yes. Now cd plurality. Okay, now we have it. If we make it to runoff, I'll be asking the question. Submit 50 will submit like normal. Sorry, I was testing myself. Let's go, Mr. Hey, Tim. Thank you so much. Okay. Alright, let's turn on the blanket here. Alright, let's continue on. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Understand the code. Whenever you extend the functionality of the existing code, it's best to make sure you first understand it in the present state. Look first at the top of the file. The line define max 9 is some syntax here used to mean that max is a constant equal to 9 that can be used throughout the program. Here's to represent the maximum number of candidates an election can have. Notice that plurality then uses this constant to define a global array, that is, an array that any function can access. Array of candidates max. Okay, but what in this case is a candidate. In plurality C, a candidate is a struct. Each candidate has two fields: a string called name, representing the candidate's name, and an integer called votes, which represents the number of votes a candidate has. Now take a look at the main function itself. See if you can see where the program sets a global variable candidate count. Okay, we have a candidate count here. We access candidate count inside here. Number of candidates in this election. What about where it copies command line arguments into the array candidates? And where it asks the user to type in the number of voters. Then the program lets every voter type in the vote, calling the vote function on each candidate voted for. Finally, main takes a call to the print winner function to print out the winner or winners of this election. We'll leave it to you to identify the code that implements this functionality. If you look further down in the file, you'll notice that the vote and print winner functions have been left blank. This part is up to you to complete. You should not modify anything else in plurality.c other than the implementations of the vote and print winner functions and the inclusion of additional header files if you'd like. Okay. So our goal here... Okay, so let's see here. We created some structure, kind of like a data type, I guess, which is just a candidate, right? And in there it has a .name and a .votes. So these are our prototypes. In our main function, we have argc. We take in 2 command line arguments, or we get an error. So the name of the function and candidate. Candidate count equals the arg count minus 1 for the getting rid of the name of the file. If the candidate count is greater than the max, then we throw an error. We're going to iterate over the count of candidates. We're going to access the name of every candidate. And then assign it to whatever the argv at that iteration was. Okay, so you provide a list of candidates. And those names are iterated over the argument and assigned for each one. And the votes is set to 0. We get a number of voters. Vote. Okay. Update vote total given a new vote. So bool, vote with the string name. Update vote totals given a new vote. Return false. This returns a bool. I'm guessing it returns false if the name isn't there. And print winner will print the winner of the election itself. Okay. Alright, yawning over here. Let's see here. So our goal here then is just to complete these two functions. So we give command line arguments. If it has to be greater than 2. Yeah, it has to be greater than 2. Okay. So we call voter count. For every voter, we get to vote. If vote on the name, invalid vote. So if you return false on vote of the name provided, you return false. So we need to here return true and update the vote if it is so. So what we need to do is loop through the candidates candidate count. Okay. So let's first handle the return false. So they provide a name. We need to return false if that name is not one of the names provided within the candidate count. So we say for I or int I equals to 0, candidate count is out front, is in our main function, but it's here. We can't actually access so we need to go over the entire range of candidate count. Like so. So we loop over the entire array of the candidate count. So if we know that there's 5 candidates, we need to get access to the indices of all 5. Candidate count, though, is not defined here. So it's arg count minus 1. But arg count so candidate count will be updated here though before we get to vote. So we can use it globally, right? Or would we need to pass it into the vote? So this would be candidate count. If but we need to access the arguments provided. Candidates, though, is an array here that we have defined with the candidates inside of it, though. So if candidates at index I, right? So we're going to access the candidates array at that index dot name is equal to name return true, right? So we're going to iterate over the entire candidate count. So let's say that the user provides 5 candidates. We're going to access 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, all 5 indices. If the candidates at that indice, so the first candidate, candidate 0, the name is equal to the name provided in the vote function, return true, that this candidate is valid. Else, continue on in the next iteration, next. Oh, we didn't find any name that's equal, we'll return false. Right? And candidates is defined globally up here via the constructor on the max, and it's in this for loop here within main that gets called before the vote function. These candidates get assigned. So I think that handles this function. So then what about print winner or winners of the election? Print winner. So we need to we loop over all the voters, get all of their votes, but we're not saving their votes anywhere. So what can we edit? You should not modify anything else in Plurality C other than the implementations of the vote and print winner functions and the inclusions of different header files. So where are the counts being saved? Oh, okay. Oh, so we need to just do the votes. Okay, got you, got you, got you. What is your expected outcome in comparing candidate I name and name? Right here. Well, what I'm doing here is I'm iterating through the entire candidate count, accessing each candidate, accessing the candidate's name, and verifying that the name that the voter provided is equal to that candidate's name. If it is, this vote was successful, and you return true. And so if you return true, right before you return true, you need to access candidate I at dot votes. Yep. Plus equal 1. Increase it by 1 and return true. So then in here, you are comparing strings. Yeah, exactly. Oh, but in C, can you not compare strings? Right? Wasn't that one of the things in the lecture that they talked about? So we need the comp string, CS50 manual pages. We need the compare string function. Compare two strings. I used it by Python. Given string 1, string 2 returns true. An int of 0. Okay. So if comp string or string compare, oops, of string 1 and string 2. So this would be candidate index I and name dot name. So if you get this, so an int less than 1 if S1 comes before S2, 0 if they're the same. So if the stir comp is equal to 0, do this, else return false. Nice. Like that. Yeah, I always have to think back going back and forth in Python and remember that these functions work differently. Okay, so if it's equal to 0, we'll increase the vote by 1, return true, else if after the entire iteration, we'll return false. So with the winner, right, if we want to declare a winner here, we need to iterate over all of our candidates once again, determine the largest. So I think it's like this. We can do this. string winner is equal to just a blank string. We'll say for int I equals 0, candidate count greater than I plus plus. So we need to determine a winner here. So in order to determine a winner, we need to evaluate the total number of votes across every single candidate and return the largest one if they are... Okay, so... So can there be a tie, though? Can there be a tie? Printing the winner of the election if there's only one. Printing the winner of the election if there's multiple winners. Invalid votes are candidates who are not on the ballot. Okay. Almost there. So... string equals winner. So how can we... We can access the highest vote count and then print all the values with that vote count. So we'll say int here, highest votes is equal to, right? So we're going to access candidates at index I. We'll say if candidate I dot votes greater than highest votes, right? Highest votes then becomes equal to candidate I dot votes, like so. So this just calls print winner. So the print happens inside of this function with just a blank return. So highest votes equals, so we override the highest vote, and then after we do that, right, after we override the highest votes, we access but that would have to, we'd have to now iterate over again. How can we do this efficiently? So if we iterate over all of the votes Hey Stoic, how's it going? Welcome in. Awesome to hear from you. How you doing on this Friday? No worries, Stoic. I appreciate you coming in no matter what. Thank you so much. You can initialize the highest votes as the number of votes of the first candidate and continue from I plus 1. Yeah, that's a good idea too. So the highest votes is going to equal. So this is going to be string winner. It's going to equal candidate index 0 dot name, right, by default. If the vote count is higher, no, so this is going to be int highest votes, candidate name 0 dot votes. If this candidate I equals 1 is greater than the highest vote, I mean, we could create another array and save winners in an array of winners, right? But that just uses excess memory. But how can we return two people if they have the same? We'd have to iterate through once again. Because you can't determine a winner until you evaluate each candidate. You can't determine a winner within the middle of the iteration. It's just that's not how it works, unfortunately. So you can't really do it in linear time because you have to process each candidate's number of votes in an individual basis. So you're bound by, in the best case scenario, linear time, because let's say that the first one is the highest number of votes, well, you just return the highest number of votes. So we can just say print candidate. Can you just say print candidate highest number of votes? So highest votes equals this. We definitely need like a dictionary. Right. We need some sort of other data structure to handle the counting. So highest votes is equal to this. If this candidate has the highest number of votes, we update the highest votes, and then we have winner, right? Winner is going to be updated to candidate at index I dot name. Why is this different? So if the current candidate we're on has a higher vote count than the highest votes already seen, we set that to highest votes and we set the winner equal to that. I have a quick question. I've been learning Python. I want to get better at with practice website. Do you recommend, and where do you think I should go from there? I like to go out of books, so I use like books to practice out of practice problems. So I highly recommend Python Crash Course, the book here, and the practice problems inside of it. Harvard CS50P, right? Um, so we need to. So we have highest number of votes and we have a winner, which is some array. If we iterate through and we have a winner, we will update the winner. But what about multiple winners? How can we determine if there is people that have the same number of votes and then return both of those back to you in a single print? Right? That's the goal here, is that we want to, right? In this current pass, right, we are just going to update the winner for the last person. But if it's greater than or equal to highest number of votes, hmm. Initialize another array inside the if block and update it only if the candidate vote is greater than or equal to the highest votes. Inside the if block. So basically the array keeps changing for every highest vote count. And if there's a tie, we can append it to it. So if you come across a point in time where you're greater than the current vote count, the highest votes, you would take that winner, throw them into an array, then access every winner's array. Hmm. Interesting. Why am I getting so tripped up on this? I gotta go to the bathroom though. I'll go in just a second. Um, so if the candidate's vote that we're currently on is greater than the highest votes currently seen, we're going to set that the highest votes to that current vote count on that candidate and declare him the current winner. If the vote count is equal to the highest, Trash Ketchum says he iterated a second time. All right, let me go to the restroom real quick, you guys. I'll be back in like two minutes. Just give me a second. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. All right, we're back here. Thank you guys for being patient with me. Just went to the bathroom. Okay, so thinking about this while on the John, I I think we do need an array, right? We do have to house the number of winners, and that array has to dynamically increase when a winner is found. So let me go like this. Int winners equals 0. Um, winners array is this by winners. Um, okay. So int equals winners 0. Winners array is by that winner count. Okay. For I equals to 0 up through the candidate count is greater than I will increase each time. Okay. We're going to say if the candidate count this is going to be string winners array by winners, and then we also need a highest vote count equals to candidates at index 0. Okay, so we initialize the highest vote count to the first candidate by default. For every candidate past the first candidate, if the candidate at that right position, the candidates at that index position dot votes greater than the highest vote count, right? This needs to be if right, like so. If the candidate I dot votes is greater than the highest vote count, then what we're going to do is, if it's greater than the highest vote count, we have a winner. We found a new winner. And we need to so winner would be by default size 1 to house the first candidate. So winners would equal 1 by default. You have one winner in there. Hey, Airsick Titan, how's it going? Welcome in. Dot votes. So if the candidate that we're currently iterating over has a greater vote count than the previously determined votes, then we will assign highest vote count equal to candidate at index I dot votes. Okay. When it equals 1. So then by default, actually, I know it would save us time and space, but I think I want to start at 0 for highest vote count and have 0 winners, just so I don't have to pre-assign the first winner in here. It'll automatically get assigned upon the iteration. So we'll do this, 0, highest vote counts equals to 0 as well. We'll iterate from 0. So we're on the first candidate. Let's say that they have a vote count of 3. Well, that'll get saved here as highest vote count. If it's greater than highest vote count, if it's greater than the highest vote count, we save it, override this, and we increase the winners by 1 to show that we have a winner. Winners increases by 1 and we save in winners array index winners is equal to candidates at index I. So if the candidate count is higher, we increase the count, the winners plus 1. We save the winner at that index point. But the thing is now that we start from 0, we're starting from 0. We need to save the winners at 0 first before increasing winners, like that. So we will save winners at index 0 to that candidate and then increase winners by 1. Size 0 though. By having size 0, does that mean it has one place, or is this like a length? Or like like how many spots, like a length? Or is it 0 index, like it has 0 index like in there, a 0 index? I think it's a length. So if you have 0, you would have to increase the winner by 1 first, actually, like I had before, to get an available place in the array at index 0 for 1 spot, and then save that candidate in that position if it's higher. If the vote equals to the highest vote count, right? That's the thing though. If it equals to the highest vote count, then the winner. So what happens though is if you have a vote count that's greater, you have to wipe the winners, right? You have to wipe all the previous winners, even if there was duplicate multiple winners. So you have to set the highest count is to this. You need to wipe all previous winners that were currently found. So winners array. Yeah, maybe an empty array. We need to wipe the array if we have one that's greater. So how can we wipe this array in this circumstance and then increase it by 1? So I guess we could say by default equals to the null character, right? So by default equals the null character for every winner. And if you have one winner in there initially, you would just set that winner equal to that. Increase it and set it to this. Can you set by default a null character on a 0 initialized array size? I'm not sure either. Um, malloc function. I've never heard of that. What's a malloc function? To dynamically change array size during runtime. Um, yeah, Rohit, that's a good idea too. We could start with sorted candidates by votes in descending order and check the candidate votes index 1, 2, 3 equal the candidate. Keep moving. Yeah, I haven't learned malloc yet. Okay, so we need a way to wipe the array if you, right? So let's first say else, right? If it's else if candidate at index I dot votes is equal to highest vote count, right? If it's equal to it, we just want to increase the winners by 1. Right? We just want to increase the winners by 1. We want to set winners array and winners equal to candidates at index I. And that's it. We don't need to adjust the highest vote count. So in order to actually wipe the array, though, we have to go winners array zero. Right, so this would wipe the array back to 0. Winners array plus equal 1. Give us 1 space. Set them all back. Or I guess we could set it to 1. Set this equal to the null character. And then rather than doing this here, set equal to 0, like so. So if you find a candidate with a greater vote count, you need to set that highest vote count, reset the array back to this, So you have a zero-sized array. You go in, you found a winner, you increase it, you set the array back to 0, you increase winner by 1, and you set the candidate like that. Else, if it equals the highest vote count, winners plus equals 1, and that. So the only thing is I don't think that this will work here. You can't set an empty array with a default value of null character because so do you guys think that we're kind of going down a rabbit hole? Should we go by, rather than doing this, should we try to sort by should we try to do a sort by vote count and then iterate through and return just the highest one? Because I'm kind of coming to a place where it's kind of getting more difficult than it should be, in my opinion. Um, so that is my other option. Okay, I think that's what we should do. Okay, so let's go. We need to sort the current candidates, right? So we have a candidates list here with all of them inside. We have a candidates list with all of them inside, array with all of them inside. We need to assort this array by the votes in descending order, highest to lowest, and return and iterate through until we find a difference in vote and return the previous values. Yeah. So we'll say print winner here. What we need to do is we need to sort these things, right? So we need to use one of our sorting mechanisms that we learned. Right, so we have merge sort. So search, draw if n is equal to 0. Draw n minus 1. And n in this case is So we need to implement a sort on our candidates array. So this is height, draw height. Draw recursively calls draw down every single time and prints this one will string compare on the search, on linear search. Hmm. If only one number quit, else sort left half of numbers, sort right half of numbers, merge sorted halves. Selection sort for this one would be for I to so I kind of want to, should we just try to write it in selection sort first to be easiest? Okay, so we can say, what's the benefit of sorting here? Well, if you sort, you can just pass, if you sort by vote count, you can easily access the first, value. It's in order by vote count. So you can just, higher vote counts come first, within the array. So you can access um, them quickly. And I mean, we did learn about sorting algorithms, so it makes sense to try to use one, right? Because if you sort by vote count in descending order, then you know that the first couple of points are going to be the highest vote counts. So you can evaluate them and determine across just those first couple of indices at what point did the vote count change, and once it changes, you can return all the preceding values. Hmm. So selection sort we iterate over for I 0 to n minus 1. We find the smallest at I. We find the smallest and then what? Swap smallest with the numbers at index I. Hmm. Fate take? What's a fate take? Um, so how can we sort? Um, for I equals 0 all the way through um, int I equals to 0, n is equal to just candidate count. So we want to loop through the candidate count is greater than I plus plus. Okay, so now we're going to loop over all of our candidates. So candidates at index I. So we need a smallest variable. Smallest votes equals to at index 1 dot votes. So from I to index, from index, sorry, 0, from I to 1, if candidates at index I is less than smallest votes, candidate index I dot votes is less than smallest votes, then what do we want to do? If the candidate at oh, I don't know. Ah, shoot. This is getting tricky. So if we're wanting to just print, right, we don't need an array because we can just print during the for loop. But we can't evaluate a winner until we iterate over all of them. So if the candidate index i's vote is smaller than the smallest votes that we currently have, which is 0, then we need to take smallest votes is equal to candidate I dot votes, right? We set the smallest votes equal to candidate I dot votes. We need the previous smallest votes oh my gosh. I don't think I want to do this either. It just seems like sorting might just be more complex too. For only a small number of candidates, it's like, doesn't seem like that viable. So if we iterate through the list of candidates, we need to determine the highest votes count. If we increase the vote count, if we change the highest vote, we found a new winner, a new leader, head runner. If we find a new head runner, we can't print the head runner at that iteration. We need to print at the very end and loop through a list of winners, right? Why would we not want to use another array to house the list of winners? Okay, how about this? For int I equals 0. Um, Candidate count greater than I plus plus, highest vote count equals to 0, int if candidate at index I dot votes greater than highest vote count, right? If it's greater than the highest vote count, we'll override it. Right? And then we have the highest vote count. So once we have the highest vote count, actually, we would just need to go ahead and say for int I equals 0, candidate count greater than I plus plus, if candidate at index I dot votes is equal to highest vote count, printf. Oh, I think this is it. Man, why didn't I'm so dumb. Man, what? This is so much easier than I was making it. Like, why am I choosing to deliberately make things so much harder? I think I'm just like planning in advance for things to be a lot more complicated, like because of all this leak code crap and everything. When in reality, it's just a 2n for loop, um, going over the candidate count. So a linear expression, but just with a constant of 2, and you just print on this loop just those found numbers. Ugh, so dumb. Why am I trying to make things crazy? Um, percent %s candidate at index I. Highest vote count. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll just print s the candidates that won. Now, what kind of formatting does it want? Alice, Bob, Charlie. Alice, Plurality, Alice, Bob, Charlie. New lines. It wants new lines. Okay. Now I think we're good. So if the candidate vote equals to the highest vote count after that first n linear iteration, then we'll print that candidate string at index I like so. All right, let's try it here. Make plurality. Oh, error. Highest vote count. Where does it not like it? 88. If candidate highest vote count. Um, Use of undeclarified highest vote count. Did you mean highest? Oh, I said it spelled wrong. Highest vote count. Make plurality. Formats type of char, but the argument has candidate. Format specifies type char, but the argument has type candidate. Ooh, right, because candidate is this here, which is string name. So we need to print dot name dot slash plurality. Okay, dot slash plurality, Alice, Charlie, Bob. Number of voters, 3. Vote Alice, Bob, Charlie. Oh, let's go. All right, number of voters, 1 or 3. We'll say Alice, Bob. Woo! All right, let's go ahead and check 50 this bad boy. Nice. Woohoo! All right. All right. That was it for plurality.c. Nice, you guys. I need to stop making things so much harder than they are. It will come with experience. It's all right. No need to beat ourselves up. Yes. All right, you guys. We successfully completed sort and plurality from problem set 3 of Harvard CS50X. So tomorrow we're going to do runoff and tideman. But I don't want to do any more of this today just to help break up the stream. It might just get kind of boring. Keep trying, everything. But tomorrow morning we'll try runoff and tideman. I did read these and they do look a lot harder than the previous two. So, and I've often heard that these two problems are what kind of weed out people in this course. Um, so it might take us some time tomorrow, but that's okay. I have all day on Saturday to do it. So if it takes us all day to complete it, then I'll stream all day. I don't really care. Um, but we're going to try these ones tomorrow. So if you guys want to see these ones, come back tomorrow. But we're going to switch things up for the stream tonight and work on maybe like the small business manager or something. Um, but I've heard like on the Reddit and stuff that Tideman and Runoff are what kind of cause people to quit the course. um, it makes it makes to assume we just learned X in class, we're going to use it on the problem set. It's so easy to go down those rabbit holes. Yeah, right. It seems kind of funny. Like, why wouldn't they have us implement any actual sort algorithm within these two problems? I'm a little bit, disappointed that we didn't so far. Now we might in Runoff and Tideman, but like I wish they would have prefaced the user to do some sort of sorting, rather than just iterating over and finding the values, because that was a huge portion of that lecture, right? But it did also talk about like time complexity and like linear search, right? So kind of doing things linearly, right? So, Mama didn't raise no quitter. Yeah. Runoff has one section that my brain just refuses to understand, and I've seen the answer. I haven't even looked at Tideman yet. I read both of them, and I will say that the Tideman one looks pretty hard. Like it I think it uses a little bit more math to kind of calculate averages or um, you know uh, ranking systems like that. So yeah, we'll get to that tomorrow though. We don't have to worry about it tonight. But all right, this was good success for plurality and sorted of week 3. We'll do the runoff and tideman tomorrow. But let's go ahead and shift our focus here into the small business manager project and just do a little bit just some live coding here today. Thank you guys so much for helping me out with that one. Ryan says, LMAO, I'm still on week 0. Hope I don't quit whenever I reach it. Ryan, when are you starting? Have you started on week 0? Are you watching the lectures? Are you doing the problem set right now? Let us know. Yeah, and join the Discord. I have a lot of resources, outlined there. You can also just talk to people offline and get access to a bunch of stuff. So, thanks so much for joining. For those that are new here, thanks so much for joining me here. My name is Michael. I graduated back in 2021 with a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry. I work as a formulation chemist for a biotech company where I got a job right after I graduated college. I make biological controls used in patient diagnostics and clinical research. I have been teaching myself Python for about 6 months, and we're slowly starting to evolve into other languages like C using Harvard CS50X, but I mainly started with Harvard CS50P and am more comfortable in Python using Python Crash Course and Harvard CS50P. So if you're a new programmer and you're interested in following kind of a similar roadmap to me, I have a Discord link below in my description where I have kind of provided a conglomeration of all of my study resources into one location, from the books you see me reading to the courses I'm taking to my live projects to everything I share in there. If you're interested in following along to this journey, consider subscribing to the channel. We've been growing quite rapidly over the course of the last few weeks, and it's been really great to see everybody really enjoy the format and hanging out here. This is just a kind of a chill area just to take the pressure off things, kind of have a checkpoint just to hang out and learn and refresh our skills and your skills on things. And yeah, so thanks so much for joining me here, you guys. I appreciate you so much. And if you're enjoying the stream, feel free to give it a thumbs up. It really helps to keep YouTube, promoting it, and getting new people in here and our community growing. So it's really awesome. For sure, I'm in the Discord. I watched the lecture. I just got to find the time to actually attempt the projects. Yeah, Ryan, I highly suggest if you have like a second, during my streams or something, to just try it on the side. Week 0 is pretty easy in terms of you're just kind of creating a beginner like project or kind of game in Scratch. So you can kind of get through it, I'd say, in about an hour if you can just kind of come up with an idea, a quick little game idea, and get through it. But once you get through week 0, I think week 1 and 2 are a lot more entertaining, as you're actually programming in a language, not like Scratch, right? So, Okay, so we have the small business manager here, and last time we worked on this yesterday, we created the business settings menu, right? And the business settings menu's purpose was to have the user actually be able to update the default, the business class attributes that are generated just by default upon loading. So as you can see here, when we load the initial start function, we create this business. Now I'm not sure why it's not being color coordinated appropriately here, but it's whatever. It should be all blue or a dark blue, kind of like in my globals. Oh, those aren't them either. Interesting. Okay, so we're creating a business and we're loading the file for business.json. And then we are, um, right, that returns a loaded JSON, dictionary with the business inside of it, inside this constant variable. Now, that's what houses that information. So we need to be able to manipulate the data provided upon creation. So um, hey Dunson, how's it going? Welcome. Notice you use if else to catch an error. I do? You got an example for me, my friend? In my revenue function, try except might be a better option. Oh, you're talking about here? So I'm not catching an error here. I'm raising the error. Like I'm kind of customizing the error. Right? So if oh well, I get what you're saying. So if you say, right, if you tried to do this, you wouldn't be able to because you would get an error because date sold wouldn't be there. So you could say try to do this except on a value error. So we'll try to do this except if we get an attribute error. What error is raised if you try to access an instance variable that has no value or a none? If you try to access an instance variable that has set to none and error is raised, you simply get the value none. However, if the instance variable has not been defined at all, Python will raise an attribute error. So we'll try to take a slice. What error would rise if I try to take a slice of a instance variable list that does not exist yet? The variable has a value of none or a false bool return. If you attempt to take a slice of an instance variable that is none or evaluates to false, Python will raise a type error. This happens because slicing is only valid for iterable object like lists, tuples, or strings. So else except um, type error, right? Item is not sold. What inspired this project, and do you have an end goal with it beyond self-development? Yeah, so actually, funny enough, I run a small business with my girlfriend. She's really into like vintage clothing, and finding them and sourcing them. So we our current business model, right? I know there's kind of a lot of like resellers out there and stuff like that, but our business model differs because we're on the lines of more correlated with sustainability in terms of like environmental sustainability. So our main goal is to try to just rehome these you know vintage clothes at because we think the vintage clothes are cool, and just because B, just the sheer amount of clothing pollution in the environment is quite drastic. So, um, by like rehoming and buying secondhand clothing, it drastically helps our environment. So, uh, that being said, is we don't try to like mark up these vintage pieces by quite a lot. We really just want the goal is to try to just find these clothing articles a new home for a good price. So we're mainly focused on just the rehoming aspect of these items, and then just giving a good deal associated with that. So it's really kind of a almost kind of like a break even model, almost kind of like a not for profit, but just a slightly for profit, just to kind of be sustainable in itself. But it's really not meant to drive and turn a profit. It's mainly meant to just kind of subsidize my girlfriend's hobbies. That's how I've kind of set it up, at least for the accounting purposes of it. And so currently, I've been having to manage all this inventory through like custom Excel sheets that I've made, years ago, and I've been updating them ever since, and kind of and stuff. So now this will be just a one-stop shop basically for handling all of that in one area rather than going from multiple Excel tabs and files, and tracking everything that way. So at least that's what the goal is, and at least to use it on a personal level is I will be using it. So yeah. Um, mm, mm, mm. But yeah, the self development is also a pretty critical part of it too. Raising an error is best if you want to stop execution. Yeah. So a lot of these, they raise an error. So then should I do a try on the other ones? Okay. What do you guys think? All right, let's continue. So, right, we load the file for the business. This reads all the contents of the business on load file. So load file is here. If it's expenses.json or businesses.json, we open the file and return all the loaded contents, if there are any. Okay, so now that returns, right, currently it's just an empty dictionary. We create the business class using the business name. Hmm. So I'm confused. So we load the file for the business.json, and save all the contents in business. We then need to access, we don't want to create because technically it's already there. So what do we need to do here is the question. Is we need to assign the values to this business. So we'll go like this. We'll just say if business, right? If there is data housed within there, right? Then we'll go ahead and establish override business is equal to because it's a dictionary of dictionary JSON objects. So it would have to be business at index 0 So this would be the specific dictionary associated with the business. So we access if we have data in here, which there should only be one business object that's created and assembled, right, each time. So, and saved. So if there is that one object, meaning that it has been previously saved and opened before, then we override business as the first index of that dictionary. Right, and then we would need to say that business name name is equal to we would create a business with name equal to business name, like so. All items, all expenses, like so. First business is a dict, and then it becomes a business object. Yes, right. That's what we're trying to do here. Hold on. So if you have a business that was previously found within the load file, then we access the first index, which would house the only business in the business dict. We then create a business class using the business name the current all items and the current all expenses. We save this as business. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, John. I'm kind of getting there too. This business stuff is kind of getting a little bit funky. So we set the override that object. So this now overrides that JSON dictionary to now just a regular object dictionary. Oh, now just a regular object for the JSON's business name. Right? Else do this. So then in my business settings though, I have business name overrides that. On this creation here. Yeah, I think that would work. Okay, so now let's go ahead and try this out. But we need to have a saving mechanism though too. So let's see here. We have load file. We also have save file. So if type not in business.json, match type, case, or business.json. Open type, let's click on this. Let's do oh no, not change all occurrences. How do you do that thing that someone suggested yesterday where you can right click and change the name of the variable? Why don't I have that option anymore? Like I can rename all like I did here. Anyone know how to do that? I forgot. Okay, so if it's JSON or business, open with type. And mode is write as file. JSON dump. If is your Python linter active? What does linter active mean? Um, JSON.dump. Oh shoot, where was it? Yeah, it's not giving me all the options. Like, maybe let me try to quit, reopen. See, this is still giving me this. Oh, did it delete all my extensions again? Oh, it did. Why? See, it deleted all my extensions. Why? Anyone know why it deleted all my extensions? Just out of nowhere? Why are all my extensions just gone? Why did they just delete like that? It doesn't make any sense. It does this sometimes and it just like will just wipe out my profile. Like I have my profile here. Extensions. So frustrating. Why would it just like delete all of my installed stuff? Anyone know why? It's frustrating. It's done this twice now. It's ever since I started coding in C. Like, and every time I open up, like, the CS50X, that's so annoying. Let me see here. I thought I sent someone a picture. Don't even have Rainbow CSV enabled either. Oh, so annoying. Where did all my extensions go? Python. What were some other ones I had installed? Extensions. Media. Here we go. I had black here. I had prettier. I had Python debugger. It's installed. I had VS Code icons. Okay. So I had black formatter. I also had live server, but I wasn't really using it yet. Pylance, Python debugger, prettier, live server, black, Rainbow CSV, and VS Code debugger. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure why it does that. Every once in a while, it just wipes my extensions off. Really annoying. I thought I made a backup though. Profile, default, profile, profiles. So I do have a backup. More weird. Yeah, in my backup, you can see it's there. Use this profile as the default for new windows. Extensions here. It just opens the extension window. Okay, whatever. Let's keep moving. Minor setback. Okay, now we're back up to speed here. So we should be able to now, in our main function here for type, do rename symbol. So, okay, if the type equals to expenses.json, we're going to do dump all expenses, else we're going to dump the business file indent for. Okay. So then we'll say we'll do a pardon, hold on. We need to look up the settings menu. Edit expense, add expense, business settings. Okay, once we rename the name, upon going back to settings menu, you run a save file for type equals to business.json, right? So now that'll save upon an update to the name. So now if we run, yes, settings, business settings, edit name, test name, then press enter. Okay. Dict object has no attribute name and no dict for new attributes. So line 338 here, business.name doesn't have it. So this is going to be business quote name like so. Now if we run, yes, settings, business settings, edit name, test name, dict object has no attribute name in the print name in the business settings here. On 339, we have print here, so we don't want to do that. So if I go business.json, it's empty. Run this program. Yes. Settings, business settings, edit name, test name. Okay, now we get this. Cool. So now if we get business JSON here, we're not getting any saving going on. Oh, if we go back to the settings menu, there. So save file business.json. We call dump on the business all of the information relevant for business. The business is being impacted here. So we load the file, which is empty. If there is data there, we access the first one and set the name equal to this and all items equal to this. Else, we create business name items here. So why did we only save name in the JSON? It's using the global business dict, not the business object. Yeah. That's what we're trying to deduce right now, is the dict versus the object. So we access the first one, we override it by stating that name is equal to so then what happens though? Let me go like this. Let's say, let me call a save file here on business .json, right? And let's see what happens. So if I delete this, clear out of here, run this, yes, settings, business settings, edit name, test name, or wait, one, fancy, clear. So if I run, yes, so that should have done a save file if there was a business there, and there's not. So now let me do it here. What happens if I call this here, like so, like that? Control C, clear, yes. This now populates with an empty save. So we called save file. We dump all of business onto the file. So we are dumping business like that. Actually, so now we'll Control C here, clear, run. Now if we go here, you should see this populate with information. Object of type business is not JSON serializable. Okay, so this is where we're getting our problems here. Is that we now it's calling the save file on line 36 here. Is then trying to dump the object business into JSON. In my opinion, a save to JSON function that accepted dictionary would be cleaner. A save to JSON function that accepts a dictionary would be cleaner. Then all you have to worry about is creating the dict in whatever class you're in. Yeah, I'm starting to get confused between all these different objects types. Starting to jumble up in my mind. Let me get my... Hold on. Come on. It's cold. Okay. So, what's going on here exactly is that we're trying to load the file, right? So if you have a business, if there is data in this file, then we're going to access the first one and save it and override it as pretty much the recreation of the object. Object of type business is not JSON serializable. So it doesn't like that we're trying to save a business object as a JSON file. So save file, what it's doing is it's dumping business, and it doesn't like that. It doesn't like that I'm trying to dump business, but it does want all expenses. So that's a good idea. So let's go to our business.py here, and let's have a method here called def. So the business currently goes Ah, this is getting confusing. Def2 dict, right? Which takes in the object itself. We will then say we do a dictionary comprehension and say value or key value in for value self. How can we create a dictionary for every instance variable? That's what I'm not sure of. So a toDict method for this specific business, we would say I honestly don't know. How would we convert an object to a dictionary? Can you just return self.dict? Yeah, the concept would be to work with the actual business object. So we would never want to work with the dictionary version, right? Yeah. So if we return self.dict. In Python, self.dict is a dictionary that holds all instance attributes of an object. By returning self.dict from a method, you're essentially exposing all the instance variables and their values as a dictionary. Okay. Yeah, I got you, John. So we'll return the value in a dictionary format. So then what does that do, though? If type equals, we dump the business onto the file with an indent of 4. Okay. So then if we run, hey, Trading Prodigy, yeah, I am fully self-taught. I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry, but I've been teaching myself Python and computer science for the past, about half a year now. Okay, so what are we doing exactly? So business is a blank dictionary, right? Should it be a blank dictionary? Let's just say none, right? Let's say business is none. We're going to load file on business JSON and override business. So business now becomes a blank dictionary, or a dictionary with objects in, with JSON objects in it. If there are objects in that dictionary, we're going to, this is going to be business JSON equals dictionary if business JSON business JSON business I guess that's fine. Do business JSON and then here business JSON. So we load the JSON. If business JSON, we're going to save the first dictionary object as that. And we need to convert we need to access the first one we need to access the first, or technically the only one that's in there, or should be in there, save it as business constant variable, override business constant variable with okay, so let's try to run here. Name business is not defined. 175. Save file. Business JSON. Okay, so that creates the blank, which is here in this else statement. Else we save business name or save file. Hey Vance, welcome in. How's it going? Long time no see. Awesome to hear from you. How's it going? So, right, it's trying to save, call a save file on business. Ugh, I'm struggling here. So we have the business object in JSON here. If you have a JSON object, you're going to access it the first one, we'll call this business dict. Business dict on the name, and then save file for business, like so. Just saw you hit 1.05 subs. Congrats. Just recently started spring semester, so I've been busy with that. No worries, Vance. How's your classes been going? I've been curious to know how people's classes have been going. I really appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much for the support. Appreciate you coming in. So in our save file function, we're saving business JSON here. So I don't want to save. We just want to load. That as business. So we have the business dictionary. We then access its the name attribute and save it as the name for the business recreation. What's going on here? So, and then we're calling a save file. So we don't need to be saving here at all. We are calling, if we load in a business object, JSON object, if we have one, we're going to save it as this. I need a global business as well, because I need to access that business object anywhere. So we set this to none. Yes. Let's print. If there is. Save file. Items. I'll save file type. Expenses.json. Oh, this thing is getting so elaborate now that I'm starting to really slow down. Um, I mean, you can even pass the JSON file path to the business constructor, so the loading / writing JSON is all handled internally. Yeah, I'm just slowing down, to be honest. Why am I? So if they exit out of the program, we save file on type equals business.json. So we call save file, which will dump business JSON onto the file. We don't want to do that. We want to dump business onto the file. So business.name is equal to set name. So what's going on? If we have a business already loaded in, then we're going to access it here. We're going to create the object using the name from the old business and load in all the current items and all expenses. Else, we're going to use default business name Um, the best way I would do it is just to make separate classes for each object. It makes it better for organization. Yeah, we have a business class here. And we have item class and expense class and everything already created. So let me go ahead and call here in main menu. Let me call, come on, print business dot name. Okay, so we should be getting test name default, right? So now if I go also to the, hey, guy, chill. To the business settings, we have a save file, business JSON there. Business.name equals to, okay, OBS. Okay, test name default, perfect. So, right, and so if I exit, okay, now we get object, no. We need to go to a dictionary and then convert that. So in the save file, .business.dict, like so. So now I go yes. Now if we go exit, boom, now we get this. So now we get a partial save. Object of type item is not JSON serializable. So I don't need to save all of these items though as the JSON. I just need to save the name because the all items and all expenses gets updated upon instantiation. Hey Dos Santos, welcome. I'm just building a small business manager application right now. Do you have an empty dictionary for business? Empty dictionary for business. So what we can do, is I just want to keep its name, right? And its revenue. So right now we're dumping the entire dictionary. I mean, we could go over here to our items class and insert a def to dict on self, which would then just return this. And so if we run main here, test name default 5, yes. Object of item type is not serializable. I just, self dot dict. Yes. Now if we exit, yes. This is getting annoying. So we have a businesses JSON. We are trying to I just don't even know what we're really doing now. It's kind of just becoming messy. Maybe we need to just go back to like what we were doing before and being like, okay, let's just go back to the creation of a yeah, you're right, John. It's at this point it's just becoming way too difficult to make changes. I'm getting spaghetti code for like a lack of better word. It's just if I make one change to business now I'm having to go back into my item classes and change garbage, and so like It's all starting to start to overlap here, and I need it to stay segregated. So you're right, is we need to start we have to refactor. There's no other option at this point anymore. Like it's just we are moving so slow in trying to make changes now that it's not helping us. Okay, so this will be our plan for tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow morning I'll come online. We'll warm up with some code. I'll work on this. We will take our main function here. We'll break it down into a main function, and then we'll have a file called menus.py, which in there we will throw in all of our menus, right? Or whatever. But anything that applies to do you guys have any suggestions to how we should so like the thing is though is like for these set size and stuff, it's like I'm not like doing things to manipulate, right? Each of these individual like methods, right, in my business class, they just like update, a various variable, right? But I call those methods within some various functionality within the main program, like using user inputs. So like for example, I have like the edit item here. So I call new name or set name function and then call the override here, which, yeah, I could refactor a method into my item class for, doing just this line here, but that's all it would replace, right? Is it would just call a function, a method with the new name as a parameter, and it would only just replace one single line. My edit item functions, like what's going on is these functions are creating these menu options and then just using just one liners to set those responses. I don't want within the class itself, I don't want to be able to set the name. I don't want it to go through the whole process of doing the set name function, of asking the user for a new name. The whole point of the method associated with a class is to just override just that instantly in that constant, like, time, right? Is just to override that value and not to return anything, but just to update it and leave it at that. So does that really even serve me any purpose is what I'm saying, because all I would be doing was, instead of saying item name equals new name, I'd just be saying item dot set item name of new name, right? It would just change rather the declaration here, but I would still be needing this set name function in order to get the user input, right? So, right. Got to think about the big picture. You want all functionality relating to an object to be encapsulated within its class. Okay, so then you're saying that for a generic name set name function, because if I go to my set name function, right, you do this user input and you return that name, right? But I get what you're saying, but would it, so I'm not sure though, John, if that is the correct, like, it's definitely something we need to clean up and consider, but will it be the resolution in this issue I'm facing of organization? Is I don't think that that directly will solve this problem, because it only will just replace that single line of, instead of saying just saying item.name is equal to the new name returned from this function, we'll just say the new name that's returned from this function is put into a parameter for the method of item name set, right? So it'll just alter a single line. Um, so I don't think that that solves the overarching problem of my code is just becoming messy. So what suggestions do we have, or do you guys have, if any, for handling the overarching problem of just messy code and it's becoming too hard to find things now? Do I need to start breaking things up into different files? Like having all of my menus be within a single file, and then the accessory methods, you know what I'm trying to say? Like this edit item, right? This is a menu. Edit item menu gives you the menu options for selecting all of these. Run view inventory, that's also a menu. Run transactions is a menu. Transact item is a menu, but it does, yeah, see, it's just, in that specific function, it'll replace one line, but in other, it replaces many. It may replace whole code blocks with a single method call. Yeah, that may be true, but for this specific program, I've been handling this similarly the whole entire time. So wherever else basically is going to look similar to this everywhere else in the program. So what I think it comes down to is needing to rename some of these functions into their appropriate menu declarations. Maybe have yeah, it's just getting complicated really fast here. So what do we need to do though to solve the specific problem regarding the business here? Right. So what exactly would solve the problem with the business here is that we need to take this one step at a time. We're trying to solve too many things at once here. Okay. When the program loads for the first time, there is no previous data for the business. right? So the business will have default values that can be overridden or overrode within the settings menu, right? So that being said, is on launch, you populate a business instance with whatever was previously saved in the settings menu. So on start, or on launch, we load business JSON. We load the file for businesses.json. That creates an empty or just creates a JSON dictionary. If there's any objects, JSON objects in that dictionary, we're going to access the first one. And we're going to recreate an object called business based on the name from that pulled information and the current items and expenses. Else, if there isn't anything found in there, we have a default name here. We call all items here and here. So that loads them up. We don't need to print the business name here. Okay. Next on our agenda would be to allow the user to update the setting. So in this business settings menu, we allow the user to override the business name with whatever new option there is. We clear the terminal and we go back to business settings. Once we exit out of business settings, we save the current changes to those business settings. Upon save, we dump the current business dictionary into the JSON. But .toDict. Yes. So this is saying that the business to dict object of type method is not JSON serializable. Object of type method? Ugh. What's object of type method mean? What if we just go dump the current business object? Yes. Object of type business is not serious. Yeah, I am using Git. I've never really used branches before. What do you do for branches? So JSON is not serializable. Let's take this error. The error indicates that you're trying to save an object as a custom class to a JSON file, but the Python JSON module doesn't know how to serialize it because it only supports serializing built-in types like dictionaries, sets, lists, numbers, booleans. To fix this, you need to find a way to convert your business object into a JSON serial format. Here are the steps. Implement a dict method to the class. Return. Okay, so then if we only really care about if we in our business, if we only care about the revenue and the name and all items and all expenses are reconfigured at each instantiation, we can just return a dictionary object with key revenue is equal to self dot revenue. Right? And then key name is going to be equal to self dot name. So okay. So that'll just return just the revenue and the name back to us. So then we'll call business dot to dict here on that and run this. Yes. Settings, business settings, edit name, test, name, settings menu. Now we're getting this error again. Okay, we need to call business dict like that. Settings, business settings, edit name, test name. Okay, so now that's saved. Oh! Yes! Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So now, clear. If I run, Go to my JSON file here. Type yes. Right? And then if I exit with doing nothing, that's saved test name default. Now if I go into the program again, go yes. Okay, now we have this. Key error. So it doesn't like us accessing the first index of a JSON of a dictionary. Key error 0 and start. Doesn't like this here. So if business JSON access the first index, the traceback is still occurring because the same issue persists. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. This error indicates that the business JSON is a dictionary, not a list, and you're trying to access an element using a numeric. Some dictionaries use keys, not numeric indices. Python raises a key error. What's likely happening? It's probably loaded with a JSON file using JSON.load. The JSON structure is an object rather than an array. Accessing it will fail. You need to access it using keys instead of indices. First, inspect the structure of business JSON. So this is just an object. A single dictionary with no key. So we need to set a key to this value. So if there is business data in business JSON, business dict adjust key access. Based on the output, replace business with the appropriate key. No, just a single business config, right? So there will only be a single uh, business instance that's recreated over and over again on an overridden on launch, right? So I want to access the first one, but I need to give this a key in itself of this whole dictionary. So we load, which returns business JSON quote name. That just gives me one key though. I want a key to the specific dictionary. What the heck happened? So if JSON, it's already a dictionary. Like that. Okay. So now if I launch into the program, yes, settings, business settings, edit name, new name. Woo! Yes! All right. Not gonna lie, feeling I'm not really exactly entire 100% sure how I got here, but it is working. Default business name. Right, so we load the file. If there happens to be data in there, we create an object referencing the name of that data that's in there. Else we just create an object with the default name. And we go main menu. And then in our business settings, we can override the name here. Sorry, in business settings, edit name, new. To new. Yeah. So that saves revenue. Awesome. Cool. So that was a good. That's a good place, I think, for us to kind of wrap it up here. We definitely need to refactor this stuff down. It's just really daunting because it's starting to get really large. Unfortunately, but it's my own fault. I've let it get to this point, right? So it is what it is, unfortunately. But it's just these functions are starting to just get, we're starting to have like 20, 30 plus functions now. And so it's really starting to get hard to follow where everything is lining up. But it is working fairly straightforward for right now, though, which is nice. Right, so if we go main menu, we have business JSON, which saves the name and the revenue currently of this business. We don't save the all items because the all items gets loaded gets loaded each time on instantiation. We don't want to carry that over. It gets saved in its own separate file. The revenue, though, we do need to keep over. And so for any other additional parameters, like if we do um, like total expenses, right? Then we'll have to include that here as well. All right. Anything else that we should add in this evening? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Anything else that we should add in this evening? So now we have the settings, expense settings, add expense category, LOL. So we do need files for these as well, for categories, for miscellaneous. Or this might be within the business actually, like the expense categories and methods. Expense class, oh, I have categories and methods here in the expense. So we just need to be able to save these and carry them over as well. So we might want to include them rather be in the business settings. Because the expense, yeah. All right. I'm getting pretty tired here, you guys. I'm gonna wrap it up here. We streamed for 4 hours this evening. I'll be back tomorrow, early earlier in the morning or afternoon, probably around maybe like 11, 10 to noon, where we'll go over some more small business manager work on this project, clean it up a little bit, work on some data structures and algorithms in Python, continue on with our Harvard CS50X as well, and do some leak code. So tomorrow is going to be a big day of streaming. I'm going to probably stream for maybe do 2 sessions of 3 or 4 hours each. So anywhere from 6 to 8 total hours of streaming tomorrow. So make sure you guys are here tomorrow if you're wanting to see that and be involved in CS50X, the projects and everything. But we'll be back tomorrow. I'll post an announcement in the Discord for my time. I'll be back. But I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. I know this one we were just kind of did some grinding, working on the projects and stuff. It was a little bit quieter in the chat today, but I appreciate you guys joining me. I think it's because it's just a Friday, right, guys? People are out doing stuff, but it's Friday, and if so you're with me coding, then you're working on yourself, making yourself better. So, round of applause to you. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, guys. I'll be back tomorrow, where we'll continue on with this. And please, if you have suggestions for how we can clean up this project and get it more organized, please let me know. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. See you in the Discord. Bye, guys.